At the time you're watching this video, someone was knocking on your home door, and an alien was standing straight to you. Just imagine that. An alien was standing straight to you. That alien was only visible to your eyes. You were having 10 minutes. In these 10 minutes, you need to explain about the human, earth, human history, animal creatures, our languages, our dressings. If you can deliver all these pieces of information to that alien in 10 minutes, then what could be your answers? What are you asking, man? I wasn't imagined this. As I'm the representative of our Earth, what could I tell the alien? If you were questioned about this, NASA had done this. NASA had sent a message to the aliens. Not even kidding. This was not today's activity. NASA did this way for 45 years. That message had crossed our solar system and wandering in the interstellar space. We were thinking that the solar system was in a bubble. But the message had reached over the solar system. At the other end, if any alien got this message, that alien could know all the things about the Earth. What was that message? How could we send that message to interstellar? I'm saying about the distance, which was very far from Pluto. This was the only man-made thing which reached the very far distance from the Earth. Let's talk about this in detail about how it had reached that distance and their launch. This is a very exciting science video. NASA had made terrific work. Our school failed to teach about this. But this was very interesting. The first thing was NASA had launched this 45 years ago. You might ask me, I haven't born at that time, but NASA did that in those days. At that time, there was great event occurred in the space, which could occur for 176 years. So NASA launched at that time. The name for this was NASA used the two spacecrafts. The name of those crafts was Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. You might hear about this name. Voyager referred to as the A traveler who wanders everywhere. On August 20th, 1977, and on September 5th, 1977. With the 16 days gap, Voyager 1 had launched. After 16 days from that day, Voyager 2 launched on the 5th of September, 1977. These two Voyagers were launched to study 4 planets which were away from the Earth. The planets are Voyager 1 took the control of Jupiter and Saturn, and Voyager 2 took the study of Uranus and Neptune. The reason for the launch of these spacecrafts at that time were, for a cycle of 176 years, the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune will be in a straight line. Okay? Our Earth's gravity kept the satellites alive. The Moon also revolves as because of the Earth's gravity. Like this, each planet has the unique gravitational force. At that cycle of alignment, by using the gravitational force of one planet, we can jump to the next, a planet like a sling. Like the Voyagers were revolving around the planets. As it was revolving, it studied the Jupiter, and by using the gravity of Jupiter, it moved to the other planet. The near planet of Jupiter was Saturn. Now, Saturn could hold the Voyager. With the minimum energy expenditure, NASA designed the Voyagers with this formula of moving to another planet from one planet for 5 years and had launched the Voyagers in 1977. Let me tell you about the components of the Voyagers. The speed of this Voyagers was 61,000 kilometers per hour. I explain the speed as, with the speed, you can reach the US in 10 minutes from India. And it only took another 10 minutes to reach India again. Goddamn speed! Voyagers were also holding 11 scientific equipment. Khmer should be used to take the pictures. Voyagers were analyzed the temperatures and the surface of the near planets, and also about radioactivity. For several studies, Voyagers were holding 11 pieces of equipment. Voyagers needed the energy for holding that equipment. After these, Voyagers 1 and 2 studied the planets. Let me dive into that message from NASA. The golden plate was kept. Voyagers did their studies and transferred the data to the Earth. The facts in our basic sciences were contributed by the Voyagers. Like the moons of Uranus and Jupiter, we had known about Titan and Europa. These were contributed by the Voyagers. Apart from the studies, NASA had launched the Voyagers along with the Golden Plate. In spite, the Voyagers were launched to study the planets. The exciting thing was, if there were any presence of an alien or extraterrestrial species, and if the Voyagers got into their hands, the aliens could know about the Voyagers. NASA had sent that data also. NASA launched the data as a recorded file in 1977, like our old disk in our home. After that, the whole history of Earth, from the formation of the atmosphere on Earth to the origin of species, dinosaurs, and their extinct growth of mammals, and about the evolution of human beings, about the kings from Alexander to Rajaraja Cholan, and they covered up to this modern world. They had done that in a 90-minute recorded file. If you ask whether they did that exactly, they had done the history of Earth the file by covering the origin species, kings, and queen of the Earth. Next, visual information was also made. The recorded file won't be handy. We need to teach how to use the recorder, so visual representation about the use of a recorder was made. The aliens won't need to know our languages or even any other language. They kept the visual information about the recorder in photo format. Along with these, NASA had also kept 150 images. The images were about the solar system blueprint of human body conformation, about the presence of animals, the culture on Earth, and the location of the Earth as a map. The alien should be a good alien. That will be good for us. If not, the Hollywood scenes will become real. We had given all the data about us, including our location as a map. The next thing was the sounds of birds, insects, and languages of humans, and different kinds of songs, whether classic or modern, included a variety of music and animal sounds. Apart from these, the tone of language while communicating. NASA had kept all these along with a golden plate. For the study, 11 instruments were made. In addition, NASA kept these data and launched as Voyagers 1 and 2. The current location of the Voyagers was 839. In the beginning, NASA had planned the program only for 5 years. It ran over 5 years. Done the study of 2 planets. After the study, Voyagers reached the distal end of the solar system. After reaching there, Voyagers took a picture of Earth. This was like a selfie. We asked the taller person to act as a selfie stick. That's me as always. Voyagers had reached the distal end of the solar system after study. It took a photo from there. That picture was very famous on the internet. You can search as a pale blue dot. That very tiny dot was Earth. I have displayed the photo. What were the findings of these Voyagers after reaching these distal ends? If you ask me about the current status, the Voyager had reached that place even before several decades. After taking that picture, it went beyond the solar system. There was no such man-made the thing which had taken a picture from the distal end of the solar system. Voyagers started to move further. It started to reach the interstellar space. That is the space between the 2-star family. Even though it had reached the far end, Voyagers were still active. For energy-saving purposes, NASA had switched off the camera, but it was transferring the data from there, about the radio waves which were presented there. Imagine the achievements that we had done. Our Earth was very tiny point in that photo, and we were very tiny than the Earth. And, with a tiny brain in that tiny human, we had reached interstellar space. That's why, still human were the king of Earth. Lots of crazy things. The findings of Voyagers were, Jupiter only has 10 hours in a day. For Earth, it was 24 hours. Jupiter was rotating faster than the Earth, so a day in Jupiter was 10 hours. Second thing was Europa, a moon of Jupiter, a satellite of Jupiter, 1111. It has greater water capes. Europa have more water than the Earth, which is very smaller than the Earth. Next, from Saturn, by Voyager 1. The studies show the presence of rocky icebergs. Saturn has a mix of rocks and ice. Titan was discovered by Voyager 2. Titan was a moon of Saturn. After a study on Titan, it showed that the landscape of Titan was similar to the Earth. 1201. The only change was the water in Saturn was methane. The next thing was Uranus Voyager 2 discovered new 10 moons. For a single moon, we were flexing our poetry skills. Neptune has the 3 layers of the atmosphere. It has an iceberg at the top, followed by ice and rocks. It was discovered by Voyager 2. After finding these, Voyagers went to the distal end for a selfie. And still running after 45 years. Scientists were expecting the Voyager's lifespan is 2 years. The speciality of Voyagers was the unbelievable survival in space. I wish to ask you an interesting question for you. Leave the Voyagers. I'm repeating the same question which I asked you at the start. Knox, what if an alien was standing beside you and you're having 90 minutes with that alien? In that 90 minutes, you can tell me anything about the Earth or human to the alien. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this video for a motivation to upload the next video.